Maybe you're working 60 hours a week at a job you hate and you feel stuck with no way out. You hear stories about people learning to code by themselves in only a few months and immediately walking into six-figure offers. And you're wondering if this is the career switch that will get you out of this rut. In reality, learning to code is a huge mountain to climb. And for most people, it will take years of blood, sweat, and tears. And with the rise of layoffs, higher competition for entry-level engineers, and the popularity of AI, there is genuine anxiety around whether or not the huge time investment is even worth it. Just recently, NVIDIA's CEO made headlines claiming that no one will need to program in 10 years, stoking the fear that software developers will soon become obsolete. In this video, I'm going to give you my honest opinion on whether or not I think it's even worth learning to code these days, and I'll show you some data to back it up. So, should you still learn to code in 2025? Well, the answer is obviously no, I don't need more competition. I hear that there's a lot of demand for nurses and teachers right now. In all seriousness though, there are a couple factors that seem particularly relevant today. The rise of AI coding tools and the state of the job market. First, let's talk about AI. Will AI replace software engineers? It's worth noting that this fear-mongering isn't really anything new, and a lot of it is propagated by people with a vested interest in AI. For example, Jensen Huang, the CEO of NVIDIA, who creates the GPUs necessary for generative AI and machine learning. Way back in the day, there were also people who predicted that WordPress and other website builders and templates would make developers obsolete. In a way, it did make some developers obsolete because these days, if a small business were to need a static website, they're not going to hire engineers. They're just going to use Wix or Squarespace for $20 a month. But clearly, it's not like website builders wiped out the entire industry, because business needs eventually became more complex and engineers adapted by shifting to other areas like full stack development. And I think we might see a similar pattern here with the rise of AI. The demos of AI tools such as Devin and Claude are impressive, and people who aren't software engineers immediately jump to the conclusion that it's only a matter of time before they become advanced enough to replace us. As the recent reviews of Devin have shown, it's not great at completing non-trivial tasks even juniors should be able to do. Also, they still need someone to carefully review the code it generates and to debug and fix issues when something inevitably goes wrong. Who do you think is going to do that? Probably not AI. It's going to be another software engineer. These days, simply copying and pasting from ChatGPT without deep knowledge, great communication, and problem-solving skills is just not going to be enough. While I don't think AI is going to replace us yet, someone who can leverage AI to help them code more efficiently will. This is why I wanted to share this free guide from HubSpot on how to use ChatGPT to supercharge your learning. Inside, you'll get an overview of all of the ways learning to code can open up tons of opportunities for you, practical tips on choosing your first programming language, and my favorite, how to use AI to customize your learning. This section is a step-by-step guide on how to use ChatGPT as your personal learning tutor, and example prompts you're likely going to use on your learning journey, as well as common pitfalls you should watch out for. ChatGPT is an incredible personal coding tutor. If I had this when I was learning to code nearly a decade ago, it would have saved me so much time and confusion. This guide is a fantastic starting point that will get you well on your way. I recommend you try it out by clicking the link in the description below, and thank you HubSpot for sponsoring this video. As a senior software engineer, a typical week will consist of me doing research on a third-party library, talking to our UX designer about what our end user is trying to achieve and what the best way to implement that is, and also trying to debug why my application didn't deploy properly. These are just a few things off the top of my head that I know I can't delegate to AI. For now, at least, Copilot and other AI tools, they're just autocomplete on steroids that often get it wrong. The only way I do see AI fully replacing software engineers is if artificial general intelligence is achieved. But that's a quantum leap that may or may not happen. And if it does happen, all white-collar jobs will be made redundant. I think it's pretty pointless to worry about the infinite number of possibilities that could or cannot happen in our future, especially if there's not much we can do to prepare for that particular scenario. While these AI tools are powerful, they're just not at the stage yet where they're going to remove junior engineers entirely or significantly impact the job market.
This is actually insane behavior that it's taken a long time to create a branch and push.
Now you might be thinking, even if AI doesn't replace us, if it makes us more productive, wouldn't that also lead to an overall less demand for engineers? Hypothetically, a company would only need to hire 3 people instead of 5 to do the same amount of work with the assistance of AI tools. This is a legitimate concern, and the only thing I will say confidently is that you really shouldn't trust anyone online that says they know for sure what kind of impact AI will have in the future. But on the other hand, since AI will make it easier and cheaper to create software companies, there is a very strong possibility that more startups will pop up and generate an even higher demand for engineers. I don't really see an end to people's desire to continue to innovate, consume, and grow. If you ask me, there will be more software and more digitalization in the future, not less. That being said, I also don't want to pretend that it's all rainbows and sunshine. If I think back to my first job in the industry, I was a software tester, and my job consisted of writing unit tests and doing manual QA for our application. A lot of it was thoughtless, repetitive tasks, and I think if AI does find a way to replace tech people, that kind of a role would be the first to go. For junior engineers, I think it definitely will raise the bar of what is expected of them, because the simple tasks like writing boilerplate code or unit tests will be delegated to AI first. Aside from AI, there are definitely other factors that affect demand for tech employees, which I want to address in this next section. By the way, if you enjoy this type of content about the tech industry and software development, please do me a favor, give it a like and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an upload. Back in 2021, the demand for software engineers was so high that basically anyone with a pulse was getting hired. And going to a coding bootcamp was a legitimate golden ticket to a high-paying career. There were people graduating with a very surface-level understanding of full-stack web development walking into software engineering roles. This led to a huge influx of bootcamp and computer science graduates, which could explain why there's now so much competition at the junior level. It's the entry-level web development positions that have the highest competition because the barrier to entry used to be quite low. Unfortunately, this also coincided with the end of the pandemic, which means people started to be less active on online platforms, and there was just less demand for these digital products. We've all seen the doomer posts online about how terrible the job market is right now, and I get a lot of anxiety when I see a post about someone giving up, going to become a firefighter or something after a 4-year computer science degree. When the headlines scare you, it's a good idea to take a step back to just look at the data logically. According to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, there's going to be a 22% increase in the number of software jobs between 2020 and 2030. In comparison, that is a lot higher than the rate for all professions, which is at 8%. So, while it might take you a bit longer to get your first job, once you get experience and develop expertise in a specific domain, there is a future because this field isn't going anywhere. It's not like print journalism. Someone with good people skills and problem-solving skills and is willing to continue to learn is likely always going to be in demand. Don't let the fear-mongering scare you from pursuing your dream career, because the last thing that I want is for you to look back 5 years from now when developers are even more in demand and just regret not starting sooner. That being said, if you are considering a career switch into software development or getting a bachelor's degree in computer science, I personally think you should take a few classes or learn for free on your own for a bit before making such a big investment. It's also a good idea to understand what day-to-day life is actually like working as a developer before committing to it. So I highly suggest checking out this video I did recently on the realities of working as a software engineer. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you over there.